Welcome back to Married with Gaming. I'm Mike.
And I'm Jen. And today we are reviewing or recapping our latest game session with OGGM and the other players.
All right, so starting off, my character had researched and looked at a book and found out that part of the maps are in different locations. And one happens to be in the body of the homunculus, described as the frog creature previously.
Yes.
And another half of the map is with a rogue that was part of the party, or part of the former party. His name was Bluto, the Black. And it leads to the burial place of Belinda, who was buried with the dragon Scarn. Right.
So we're trying to find out if Scarn is alive or what exactly is going on with that.
And there was some debate whether or not we should head first. Also, as a recap, I was able to identify the items that we had found. The gloves were gloves that were light as a bubble, thick as a board. So it seems to make things light, and you can then lift them with the glove, kind of like the light as a feather kind of thing. There's a potion of mirror image. So that'll be kind of, maybe we could use it like the Total Recall ending where he has the duplicator thing. There was a chest of tricks is what it was called. That's what we pulled the rhinoceros out of.
Yes, that has 3 uses a day, I believe.
And I'm kind of thinking he was leaning into the, was it a Bullwinkle cartoon with the let me pull a rhinoceros out of my hat thing?
I don't remember that one.
He has some weird references in his thing. And a potion of giant strength. So,
yeah. And so we, go back to where... Yeah, we did the restock of the supplies back in Not Dunkirk, which is also known as the camp. And we have some discussion on how we're going to get the homunculus to come with us, the homunculus, to come with us to get the map from him. And we remember that he was eating pizza, he was asking for sandwiches, he was baking cookies. So basically,
with his master dead, the thing was that drove it insane, and that the part of the map was stored within it.
Yes. And so we decided to buy a bunch of food, kettle corn and some elven dish called pizza and some sandwiches and some other things. And we get all that to entice him to come with us.
We were also told that there was somebody in town with the name of Dunkirk. And so we kind of looked into that.
Yeah. And
well, that was more of a thing for our 2 World War II people. And so they talked to him, and we led some vendor said that his mom knew about their family who came from there. So we went there, and
she really didn't know much.
No, they just had come from there, and that had been then taken as their surname.
So Honey and Captain Landis decided that, maybe we'll just give up looking for Dunkirk.
Yeah, they finally resigned that they weren't in some kind of
France
variant.
Yeah.
And there were some sandwiches that some dogs stole at times and stole them back. So that was kind of like a side weird thing.
There was a lot of role playing this session, which was kind of fun. A lot of little things. So,
but we went back, we got our pizza, and we thought, let's head back to the Crooked Tower and see if we could lure the homunculus to come forth and then get him to regurgitate this map part.
Yes. So we made it back there, and we didn't see anybody around, but we set out some of the food, and Honey started calling, "Yo, get your pizza. Come on, pizza." And pretty soon Gur comes running up. So it worked as intended. He comes running up and got some pizza. he does a lot of, wacky rambles and whatnot. But eventually we get out of him that he did have the map. Oh, he gives Honey a cupcake to eat that he pulls out of himself. So he's some sort of weird, I just picture him as like a bender alternate. He just opens up and there's the stuff. So, but he gives her a cupcake to eat that is disgusting. I think it was sawdust and soap.
Yeah.
And then, we ask, hey, do you have a map in there too? To which he replies that he got rid of the map to get the tuna. So we ask him where he got the tuna. And he says, oh, I got it in the magic box that's in the spooky cave under the house.
So we head to the tower to try to figure out what this means. And what it was is the tower had collapsed. So we had to clear a lot of debris until we find a small enough so some people can wiggle through. But it was continuing to be cleared so we could all make it through. Mm-hmm. And then we get down into this, I think it was a 20 by 30 basement cave.
Yep.
And looking around in one of the side of it, there was this strange, mysterious white box near the dumbwaiter.
Mm-hmm.
And
it had the name Frigidaire written on it.
So,
which is where the tuna came from. So we open it up and we look inside, and sure enough, under a jar of pickles, there's half the map. So,
which I'm kind of confused why you would have to either refrigerate canned tuna or pickle jars.
Okay, cold pickles are better than room temperature pickles.
But that's
and it was a half jar, so it had been opened. So it makes sense that the pickles were in the fridge.
Oh.
Canned tuna, I don't know why, but half the tuna was already open as well. So, anyway.
There's plenty more things that don't make sense, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Also within the tower was what appeared to be a wizard laboratory, which also looked just basically kind of like a high school lab. Beakers, things, but supposedly there were some things that I noted in the spell book that might become useful in the future. And it was this typical cricket legs and spiders and things, which, much to my wizard's distaste, it seems like those are spell components that you need to eat to activate the spells. And there was some bat guano, which thankfully, according to a future spell, I will not have to eat bat guano in order to fireball. So that was kind of a relief.
Yes. So the map, when we inspected it, it shows that it leads to a place called the Stoneheart Mountains, which looks to be where Belinda Brassbottom was buried. Mm-hmm. We know that Bluto, the rogue, had the other half. So we asked Gur about Bluto, and Gur does remember Bluto and says that Bluto had a talking sword, but doesn't know where Bluto lives, where Bluto's from. Even if he did, I don't think he would be sane enough to tell us. But so the map also shows what looks to be a city called Sar. So we think, well, maybe he's in the city. That might be where we start. So we head back outside the tower to go consult with Captain Dinosaur Pirate Dungeon Minister to see if he knows the local area and what he kind of suggests. Mm-hmm. But he's not there.
Yeah, he's wandered off.
And Gur also has wandered off by this point.
So I think it was somebody's decision to ring the bell.
Mm-hmm, the ship's bell. Mm-hmm. And we're hoping it'll work the same way that the calling for food did. But
kind of, but in a different way.
Yeah.
So eventually what it does is it summoned a land shark. And it wreaked havoc on us. And we had to kind of try to get well, go ahead and tell.
Yeah, I had to try to. So I was driving the ship, and so I was backing the ship up so that the Captain Roger Landis could shoot the cannons at it, and then David was fire or magic missiling it. Because it was kind of under the ship.
Yeah, which was only very insignificant compared to the cannon shot and then gunshot. So we finally drove the land shark away, but it had made a meal out of several legs.
Yeah, 4 of the 6 crab legs were eaten.
So our ship was pretty much impaired at that point.
Yeah, so we weren't going to go anywhere.
Even though Nurse Honey did she did heal the ship, but it healed it from damage but did not regenerate. That was the specifics.
Right. So, of course, by this time, the pirate captain dungeon minister had come back and, of course, was very upset that his ship was destroyed. So, after some discussion, Captain Landis and the pirate decide they would drive the Jeep back to the camp and look for someone who could heal or regenerate the crab so that we could continue on our journey. So they go that way. The rest of us stay on the ship. And that whole situation includes an overnight where they're gone and then they come back the next day. So on the ship, while the captain is gone, of course, we spend a night. We do hear or smell some meat cooking overnight. We don't go investigate. And then we don't get too much trouble by any local creatures because the crab is kind of making some whimpering and sounds of pain. So most things are kind of giving the ship a wide berth.
What I didn't realize is it was like a living kind of hermit crab in the ship that was moving it, not just magic crab legs.
Which is funny because we had a discussion about this while we were filming our last review.
Yeah.
And we were in disagreement on that. So it's kind of funny. Anyway, so the next day it's pretty quiet on the ship until we hear a hammering noise. We decide, the ship's not going anywhere. So those of us on the ship are going to go ahead and check out the sound. And it happens to be Gur making a taco stand.
Yeah. And again, we investigate. Nurse Honey engages with him to talk, and he demands that she partake of his tacos, which are just raw meat wrapped in lettuce. And again,
she eats it.
Takes one for the group of getting him to work with us and eats raw. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah. Again, we salute you.
So back in town, meanwhile,
they are trying to discuss who to get somebody to come with them. I don't know if she's a witch doctor or something.
Or a cleric of some sort.
Yeah, she has one half of her face painted white and black, like she's in an old Star Trek episode.
Yeah.
Name the episode. But she doesn't want to leave. She's old and doesn't want to help like that. So she trains an acolyte with the regeneration spell or gives it to him on a scroll or something. But they have to take some time.
Right. So that's why they stay overnight. And then the next morning, they are getting ready to leave with the acolyte to come back to the ship. And there's a cry about a wounded man outside of town. So, of course, they run to see what the deal is. This man is very near death, manages to get out that his wife was kidnapped. And then...
and the people that took his wife and attacked him were led by a blue dragon man.
Yes, and there were a lot of them. And then they have to heal him up. They get him, stabilized and better. And it turns out that he is Bluto. Dun, dun, dun.
And they demand his map or the map pieces.
Both map pieces in exchange for his wife. So, both the captains. Captain
Landis
and Captain Dungeon Minister.
Yeah.
They they bring Bluto back to the ship with them.
And so they get back, and so we discuss it, and we're like, everybody fills in everybody what happened and what's going on. And then we decide to make a plan. Mm-hmm. And the plan?
Well, first, the Acolyte does try to heal the ship and is able to regenerate one leg. But it wipes him out, and we're clearly not going to go anywhere in this ship tonight. So, but our plan is to make a fake map or two halves, both fake, of a map to basically send to exchange for the wife, and hopefully send this Lord Kasuth, because that's the name of the blue skin guy, on a red herring.
On a wild Kasuth chase.
Wild Kasuth chase. Yes. So we decide to make that. None of us are forgers, however, but Honey, she figures it out, and she makes a pretty darn good copy.
Yeah, the nun is quite good at that skullduggery. Mm-hmm. Suspicious.
So we also, in the process, make sure that each of us has accurate copies of both halves of the map. So if we get separated or anything happens, we will always have the map. And then David uses his cell phone. Which
was a good suggestion, because I kind of spaced off when I've been taking pictures all the time. And for some reason, my cell phone still works in this world, so whatever.
So once the forgery is done and we're ready to go, we head off to the area that Bluto was supposed to meet someone to do the exchange. And it's kind of a flat area with some big boulders around, but not a whole lot of hiding places, just a few. And but we show up a day early so we can set up an ambush. So I think it's you and Honey kind of have a hiding place. Captain Roger Landis, he digs a hole and has a little
he digs himself a trench and makes cover. He's going, he knows what he's doing. And then 44, who he kind of makes, he does have like a tactic skill. So I know he makes some kind of assertion to how we should do this, but he takes another point.
Yeah, he hides. He's also kind of big, so he does another. And then I stay up a little ways away from the group, but near the Jeep, because the thought was I would be a floater and kind of run in as needed. And so we settle in for the night. We're ready. And then as the night falls, I notice 4 goblins sneaking up on me from my position in the Jeep.
Thus, the ambushers become the ambushed.
Mm-hmm. So I yell out ambush and attack the ones that are on me, killing one pretty quickly. And then I've got the other 3 to deal with. I'm kind of far away, though, so not everyone in the group hears me. But Captain Roger Landis does, and so does Cal. But they decide, since they don't see anything yet, they decide to stay still and wait. And I don't think you and Honey heard.
We got attacked pretty quickly.
About the same time.
Stabbed a bunch, and I was able to pull out, and get off a magic missile to hit one and kill it. And I think she basically invokes the Lord's name and uses her Bible as a mace to kind of smash one.
Yes.
And as we're kind of pinned down by some others, 44 kind of bull rushes across the battlefield and takes out 2 of them with his
one big rush.
Clips them. And tackles them.
Yeah, because there was a group of 4 that ambushed you, a group of 4 that ambushed me, and there was another group of 4 that were looking behind boulders we weren't behind. So 44 runs to
our hiding place, and he just tackle or clips them and takes them down.
Mm-hmm. Helps you take care of them, and then following that, he bull rushes the other group, the group
he
of
just
4
runs
that
down
didn't
the
find
hill
anybody.
towards the other ones.
Yeah. And then Captain Landis hears something pass by his hiding place, so he waits until it passes completely by, and he jumps up And what he sees is basically
well, at first he's a little impaired because he can't see in the darkness.
Yeah.
And
so he goes running that direction. Meanwhile, I'm knocking goblins off the Jeep as they're trying to get up, and I see a wraith, or what some sort of wraith looks like, coming also. So I have one goblin left at this point, so I maneuver myself so that the goblin is between myself and the wraith. And then Captain Landis is running up behind and shoots at the wraith.
Yeah, and meanwhile, down in the other fight, 44 has ran down, rushing and then clotheslining a couple more goblins, taking them out. And then Honey rushes up and literally is a Bible thumper. Takes one down. I think I take a pot shot with the magic missile, but no, I take the magic missile pot shot first.
Yeah.
To the leader,
to the guy with the fork. We've determined that forks are a symbol of leadership for goblins. So.
And then on the fight up by the top of the hill with the Jeep.
So the wraith does reach the goblin and just instantly kills him. And then I run away and try to get on the other side of Captain Landis, who shoots it again. I think 2 or 3 shots. And
he used his saber on it.
Oh, did he? Used his saber? And at least
for the primary attack, I think he used his saber.
He's able to defeat it, and it seems grateful to him to putting it down, freeing it. And that takes out the last of the enemies. And then Bluto, who was also hiding behind a rock that the goblins didn't look behind, comes out and with a dead goblin, claiming that he killed another one.
Well, he said he killed 4 others in addition. So,
but he didn't want to brag. But I don't know.
His fight was off camera. he's not a character. So.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then 44 was able to get the sword from the wraith. It was called a Barrow White sword, I guess, but picked up a cool sword.
So who knows what that's going to do? And we're all getting our
pogs and
we were all getting basically that and getting our wits back to us and figuring out what's going on. When
Magumbo shows up, the little tiki god, tiki mask, god of chaos. Yes. And when he shows up, we are healed and we feel 1 level more powerful. So
that's kind of a meta thing, but as the whole game is supposed to be kind of over the top.
Yeah, kind of fun and wacky. And
so now we're 3rd level and yet to meet the handoff for the map for a wife.
Yeah, we haven't done that yet. So
that'll be next game, or what other shenanigans?
So that was today's game. It was a lot of fun. It was a little bit of role playing, a little bit of adventure, a little bit of everything that we love. So as usual, it was streamed on OG's channel and OGGM's channel, and we will put the links in the description if you want to watch the whole thing. Otherwise, we will see you.
Just watch the recap.
Yeah, But no, I know he would appreciate the views. Otherwise, we will see you next time.
Until then.
Bye.
Thank you for watching, and please take a moment to like and sub.